Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurudeva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Narayana. Hari Om and good evening from Niagara Falls. What is the difference between Ravana and Vibhishana? Ravana and Vibhishana are brothers from our Itihasa, Ramayana. You have to understand their difference by understanding what their names mean. Ravana means the one who is always roaring. Those who roar make others roar too. Ravana's roaring symbolizes someone who is filled with fear. Fear-filled. Vibhishana is the one who is ever quiet. Vibhishana means fearless. The one who has no fear. And if you go deeper than just their names, the reason why Ravana is fear-filled is because he believes that Bhagavan Rama is just Rama. He thinks Rama is a man. And Ravana thinks he's greater than man. Vibhishana knows Bhagavan Rama is God. And he knows that he serves God. For 48 weeks, for 48 classes, have you been listening, have you been experiencing Krishna's teachings? That is, Krishna as a man, and we are equivalent or greater than man. Or have you been listening to, have you been experiencing Bhagavan Krishna? That is God, and you are serving God. In our course, if one is still fear-filled, then this course is like any professional course, any academic course. But if you're becoming more courageous, even fearless, then this course is your direct connection with God, with Bhagavan Krishna. And the only one who will know that is you. This cannot be proven. This cannot be inferred. Only you will know what you are experiencing. In chapter 18, Bhagavan Krishna begins by telling us our story. He says that we keep doing so that we can keep enjoying, but enjoyment goes away. So I have to keep doing again, to keep enjoying and doing, and I'm stuck. This is samsara. One who has invoked God's grace, Scripture's grace, Guru's grace, through their own effort, they start to think. And in thinking, they start to explore, they start to begin Tyaga. Tyaga is letting go. They let go of their past story to create a present and future story. They let go of the lower to hold on to the higher. Tyaga begins by understanding phala, or results, fruits. When one understands the phala, this is in the future, this is out of control, and whatever I do receive, that came into my life, and this is also going to leave my life. When one understands fruits, they start to shift their focus. They start to invest in action, in karma, and specifically engaging in yajna, dana, and tapa. Because yajna, dana, and tapa facilitates shanti, far away, nearby, and most importantly, within. Phala does not facilitate shanti. Karma facilitates shanti. So this is tyaga, me letting go of the future so I can engage in the present. With this understanding, we come to a new name or a different way to understand Vedanta. And you may not have heard this word before. And I love this word. Vedanta is also known as Kritanta. Vedanta means the end of knowledge or knowledge of insight. Kritanta means the end of doing. Deeper than this, the end of becoming. And if you're not doing and becoming, what are you doing? I asked it again, what are you doing? You are being then, isn't it? In English, I have to say, what are you doing? But we all know this is being. The end. One is happy once and for all. One lives happily ever after. What are we studying? Kritanta. And I assure you, everything that we studied today is not Kritanta. It's more doing, more enjoying, more doing. Bhagavan continues with chapter 18 to help us understand karma even more. We're going to go through 18.8 to 18.12. The more we understand karma or action, we develop this insight to engage in tyaga or to let go of aham kara. Please understand this word. Aham means I. Kara means do. Ahankara, I do, I enjoy. That is ego. But the more I understand karma, that aham slowly gets erased. The evolution of karma is now what Bhagavan Krishna takes up. And please appreciate that it's not just the evolution of karma, it's evolution through karma. We all want to evolve. How? Through karma. Here's what Bhagavan shares. For all of our karmas, this should begin with drishti. Drishti in English is vision. One who has a sattvic drishti, this is how they're beginning their karma. Their vision is holistic. Holistic. There is no professional goal and personal goal. There's no, these are my real friends and these are my fake friends. All they do is uniform. There is a oneness there. We recently completed a wonderful understanding marriage retreat through Chinmaya Mission Cleveland. And a thought that we had explored was, all of the people in our lives particularly our parents, our siblings, our spouses, our children, etc., are all ambassadors of God. And what do we call an ambassador of God? Guru, no? A guru is someone who removes darkness. They make us vulnerable so we can see our vices and hopefully turn those into virtues. Now please keep in mind that you can have many, many, many gurus, but only one Sadguru. One who guides you to the truth. So someone who has this sattvic drishti, they learn from all of the people around them. One with a rajasic vision, it is not holistic, it is broken. Their vision is broken. With a lack of oneness, what does a rajasic person do? What is their vision towards karma? They're always comparing. Always comparing the past to the present to the future. So there's regrets, there's anxieties. They're comparing themselves with their parents, with their kids, with their friends. They're not having a uniform aspiration in life. Rajasic drishti. Then we go to a tamasic vision, and their vision is missing. It's not even broken. It's not there at all. They have no vision. Such a person lives life ignorantly. And I think it was in our Bhagavad Gita course where I shared what ignorance is. It was Atma Bodha actually. Ignorance is when you ignore. When you ignore life, that is, you do not think at all, then there's no vision there. We're trying to understand karma even more. So if our karma evolves, we will evolve, and karma begins with drishti or vision. This drishti or vision expresses the next subtlest point is the Bhagavan calls this karma, but in our philosophical understanding is purpose. What is the purpose of action? What is the purpose of my profession, my family, and so on? One who has a sattvic purpose, that reason to act is deep. They're thinking in a deep way, they're executing in a deep way. Whatever they do is for the long term. There's no consideration for the short term. They're in this for the long term. Imagine all of us had this sattvic purpose when it came to Earth Day. Our eating habits would change, our purchasing habits would change, our living habits would change. So much practicality to what Bhagavan shared millions of years ago. Then we go to the rajasic purpose. A rajasic purpose is one who is distracted. Distracted, they know what they're doing, they don't know what they're doing. And in this distraction, they become inefficient in their karma. They're engaged in this action, or they're about to engage in this action, but they're comparing. I talked about that. Or they forget why they're doing this, or they're confused about why they're doing this. Swami Chinmaya often shares that it's like someone who has their foot on the accelerator and brake at the same time. That is someone with this rajasic purpose. They want to go forward, but they feel I can't. There's too many self-canceling thoughts there. Ask for someone with a tamasic purpose. They are impulsive. They just do whatever they feel like doing. They're the people who say, do what your gut tells you to. But if we all did that, we'd all be overweight, no? Your gut, or this intuition, has to be trained. But a tamasic person has no training, so to do what you feel like doing will always be harmful. Harmful to you, harmful to others. Someone who has a tamasic purpose, they're ever engaged in the short term. Short term. these are the type of people who are most destructive to the environment. They think that Earth is just for their use, and not even for 50 years, for 5 years. Good enough. Drishti is the deepest part of karma. This expresses as karma or purpose. This expresses more. The third dissection of karma is the karta. And in philosophy, this means attitude. What is the attitude with which you're trying to execute this purpose? The attitude. One with a sattvic attitude, they are responsible. And we use this word many times, thought about this many times. The Sanskrit word for responsible is dharmic. They do not make excuses. I'm calling everyone out here. We've gone through 48 classes. How many of you think you've attended 90% of our Bhagavad Gita course classes by show of hands? 90. 80? 70? 60? And I'm not going to go below that. Now, for those who are not at 90, and I'll be generous here and say not at 80, why? Why are you lower than that? You signed up for this. I didn't make you sign up for this, correct? Someone with a sattvic attitude, no excuses. And that will come out more clearly soon. One with a rajasic attitude, they are expectant. Expectant means they're about to act, and why are they acting? Because they want something back. There's an exchange between the world or someone else. These expectations, another way to look at this is projection, attachment. This is what happens with someone who has a rajasic attitude. They're ever shaking. Because they want this to happen, but it's not going to happen like that. So they're disappointed. They're angry. They become anxious. They become defensive. Rajasic attitude. As for someone who has a tamasic attitude, tamasic karta, they're just destructive. This opportunity of body, mind, intellect, family, friends, and so on, all they're doing is having this destructive attitude. This is a catalyst to harm. They harm others, and in doing so they harm themselves, and harming themselves they harm others. In a country where there's public education or public health care, if a person smokes cigarettes, if a person litters, and so on and so forth, everyone has to pay for that, isn't it? If I develop tongue cancer, lung cancer because of smoking, then everyone else in Canada has to pay for that too. Harming myself is harming the country also, correct? For generations. Then we'd be like America. A catalyst to harm. Drishti, karma, karta. This manifests even more. The fourth part is buddhi or understanding. Buddhi or understanding. What is our understanding of karma, what we're about to do? See, there's so much of a gap between I think I should wake up in the morning and actually waking up in the morning, correct? There's a vision component, a purpose component, an attitude component. Then there's that understanding component. What if I don't have the understanding of why I should wake up in the morning? Then I don't. Or I keep sleeping in. Sattvic understanding is one who prioritizes. Another word for that is viveka. They prioritize. They know what's important. One who prioritizes well is clearly decisive. They're decisive about the cause and the effect. If this is the cause and they follow through with the cause, whatever effect is going to come, fine. Clearly decisive. That's an admirable quality of people when they are decisive. People who are indecisive always look to them. How do they make such decisions? one who has a rajasic buddhi, rajasic understanding, they don't prioritize, they are filled with doubt. Their understanding is always doubted. And when someone is a doubting person, when they lack this decisiveness, they're easily swayed. Easily swayed. Acharya Gaurang is in Niagara Falls. I had to leave the Drigdrisha Viveka discourse early to be part of this. And we've been going out for Bhiksha. And sometimes at Bhiksha, I'll ask Sheila or some other people there, how many rotis did you eat? Or how many slices of pizza did you have? And the reason why I'm doing that is I'm looking for someone who's eaten more than me so I can eat that much also and justify it, isn't it? But usually for Sheila it's less. So then I still want to eat it, but I don't, but I feel bad, you know? I'm not the same as her. I should eat it anyways. See how easily swayed I am when it comes to Bhiksha as an example. Rajasic buddhi. Tamasic buddhi. Someone who has a dark understanding. All that they know about the work they're going to begin is false. They treat the means as the ends, they treat the ends as the means, and they know what is right, but they change that into being wrong, and that which is wrong they turn into being right. There's total falsity in their understanding. Our health is very tactile. Imagine everything you were told that is good for you with this tamasic understanding. When someone says this is good for you, you turn that into bad for you. Vegetables, bad for you. Fresh fruits, even worse for you. Only carbohydrates, good for you. Eat white rice, white sugar, white salt, white bread. That's all good for you. That's false understanding, no? And now the final part. Now, we have this understanding with our work, and as we're engaged in this karma, there can still be a breaking off of that karma. So the fifth part Bhagavan talks about is dhriti, or commitment. As I'm acting, what is my commitment level? What is my expression of commitment? One who has this sattvic dhriti, they are steady. Like Hanumanji. Mainaka says, hey, you should rest. Hanumanji touches Mainaka and continues. There's a steadiness that is there. Someone who has a sattvic commitment, someone who's committed in a sattvic way, they're always adapting. Always adapting. As articles, beings, and circumstances change, they adapt to that. Whatever it takes to fulfill that karma. One with a rajasic dhriti, rajasic commitment, their commitment is only circumstantial. Only circumstantial. More specifically, if such a person invites me to their party, I'm committed to that. But a person I like less, I'll say yes, but then I'll find a reason not to go, and I'll tell them last minute or make something up. It's very preferential. There's a lot of likes and dislikes there. There's a temporariness to someone who has this rajasic commitment. And finally, tamasic. Tamasic dhriti is one who is stubborn. See how this commitment is an expression of understanding. If I have a false understanding, this stubbornness is I'm wrong, but I'm not open to learning. That's stubbornness. If someone is right and they don't change, we call that strength, correct? If someone's wrong and they don't change, that's stubbornness. How much magnification Bhagavan is applying to what we've been doing since we've been born, till we die. No sociologist, no psychologist has ever studied karma like Bhagavan is doing right now. And why Bhagavan is doing this? Because he's telling us this is your key out. Doing, enjoying, doing, enjoying. What if your doing just was doing where you didn't focus on the enjoying? Evolution of karma, evolution through karma, you can be free. one who is stubborn is one who never learns. So if anyone ever calls you stubborn, hopefully they're wrong, but think lots about that. If someone calls you stubborn. We go to 18:13, and this is where we'll complete our class today. If you remember the earlier part of this chapter, Bhagavan Krishna said there's 5 components to an action. Those components are karta, which is the doer. There's the karana, which is the mind. The cheshta, which is the breath or energy. There's the adhisthana, which is the body. And the deva, that is the field. So this is where Bhagavan brought up our understanding of karma. And we thought, why make karma so complex? If you're thinking like that, we're only applying jnana to karma, but we have to go to vijnana, the wisdom. Reading between the lines of what Bhagavan is teaching, he's trying to help us understand that we are not the doer. There's no place in here for Brahman, Atman, infinity self. Brahman, Atman, infinity self is being, is not doing. But you need that level of magnification to find that. Bhagavan is so loving, so that this analysis is not general, but is more specific. Bhagavan goes into karma even more. He's going into karma even more because he knows that through right thinking, right acting, we can be free. The word Swami Tejamayana uses is, we can be successful. So Bhagavan Krishna says, our actions should go, before we even act, we should have drishti or vision. This will express as karma or purpose. This will express as karta or attitude. This should express as buddhi or understanding. And finally, as I am acting, this should express as dhriti or commitment. Karma is going to lead us, if we address all, really now 10 components to action, karma will lead us to ahankara. Sorry, anahankara. Action will lead us to ego. Done! 18 chapters of what I'm already doing. Karma will lead us to anahankara, where even as I'm engaged, there'll be no sense of individuality. When one has realized that individuality dies, they become the player. They become the instrument of God as a coach, God as a musician. They literally are ambassadors of God. A genuine ambassador represents that leader, that country. We are studying the same. As we become more and more egoless, we will start to experience more and more sukha. So Bhagavan says, with drishti, karma, karta, buddhi, dhriti, there's an experience that comes with that. And he calls this experience sukha. One who is checked off sattvic for drishti, karma, karta, buddhi, dhriti, their sukha will naturally be sattvic, which means it's effortless. Effortless well-being. Like a high school student who has an intense metabolism, they can eat anything and still be thin, correct? Effortless well-being until they become 25, then 35, and 45. And we'll just, I don't even have to comment on that. Effortless well-being. This is a shloka that I want us to focus on in this chapter. There's so many shlokas we can focus on, but this is one. Shloka 37 of chapter 18. Yattad agre vishamiva pariname mritopamam Tat sukham satvikam proktam atma buddhi prasadajam. A simple understanding. Yat tad agre. That which in the beginning, vishamiva. Visham means poison. Eva, like poison. That which is hard in the beginning. Pariname, but in the end, amrita upamam, is like nectar or is easy. Hard in the beginning, difficult in the end. Can you think of some activities like that, some actions like that? Going to the gym, waking up in the morning, being patient, being understanding, being generous. Everything good is hard in the beginning and easy in the end. Bhagavan says, Tat sukham. That is happiness. What kind of happiness? Satvikam proktam. We call this sattvic happiness. Where does it come from? Atma buddhi prasadajam. This is born from oneself. This word, Atma buddhi prasadajam, I often share in English as independently joyous. Here's a reference for you. Bhagavan is sharing Atma buddhi prasadajam. This joy comes from within. As for someone who has Rajasic checked off on the 5 parts of karma we study today, Rajasic sukha is dependent. It is dependent on various factors, like the people around, like the time of the season, and if everything is not perfectly aligned, they feel disappointed, they feel angry. There's bhaya and krodha. And now think, when is anything aligned perfectly? It's only when we try not to align in such a detailed way that we allow faith to be present. For those who came on the Chinmaya Inspiration Yatra 10, or any yatra for that matter, this is a beautiful expression of when someone is trying to make outwardly everything perfect, there's fear and anger, but when they try their best and leave the rest, sattvic sukham then. And when someone has tamasic checked off on all of these parts of action, what is their sukha like? What is everyone's favorite statement or proverb when it comes to not knowing the rules of a country or a tradition or how many calories are in a food? Ignorance is bliss. We had Bhagavad Gita class today. For 48 Tuesdays, we had class, but I didn't think it was going to be on this Tuesday. Ignorance is bliss. Wherever the word ignorance is there, there's only harm, destruction. How can the word bliss be in the same sentence as ignorance? Here too, if you study this literally, it's fun. This is a great way to make a chart and remind myself and show people chapter 18 of Bhagavad Gita. But I'll tell you the vijnana part of all of this. If you carefully analyze the drishti, karma, karta, buddhi, dhriti, for each one of these there is a sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic, correct? There were the gunas. Where did the gunas come from? Maya. Maya is there too. And now you have to go even deeper. The vijnana of vijnana. We've studied very thoroughly. What is the one and only way to get out of Maya? To be at the feet of Maya Pati. To be at the feet of God. Bhagavan is sharing to the last 2 classes. Karma is not our way out. One has to be doing to get to this understanding that I cannot do this by myself. And we go a little bit deeper. In chapter 2 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, And I told you, chapter 2 and chapter 18 are mirrors facing each other. Chapter 2, the first thought that is shared is Jnana Yoga, then Karma Yoga, and later on in the chapter there's brief expressions, but it comes out more clearly as Gita goes on, Bhakti Yoga. Now, if you've been following what we've been studying with chapter 18 also, we started off with Jnana Yoga, where Bhagavan was talking about how we have to keep following Tyaga to get to Sannyasa. And I said, Sannyasa is Jnana. We have to get there. But now, for the last little portion of Bhagavad Gita, we've been studying Karma a lot, correct? So we went through the Jnana Yoga, the Karma Yoga, and with the completion of this, what is going to be introduced? Bhakti Yoga. A whole new flow of chapter 18 will begin. Chapter 18 has 4 waves. It begins with Jnana, goes to Karma, comes up to Bhakti, and then there's the Anubhuti, or the experience of Prince Arjuna. This is what I'm going to do now. What happens when there's Prince Arjuna and Bhagavan Krishna? This is the credits. But now comes a portion where Bhagavan will say, Sarva Dharma Parityajya. Just me. There is only God.